This one was both the longest and the shortest session at the same time. Well, you see, that's because we had a few people who were causing a lot of lag. And we're talking about the kind of lag that normally we would be able to play, say, 30 years, we only managed to play 6, and after we kicked them, we managed to play 4 more. And the whole session, and like we played 6 years in like 3 hours, so you can imagine how slow that was. However, we did make quite a bit of progress this time. Now that I've realized that the planets generate a tremendous value, even though the districts are still pretty expensive. However, the buildings themselves do not cost, well, any administration capacity. So as long as you have your population keep building up, the buildings do not really cost anything outside of their base resources that they happen to generate, a lot of your future economy. Which means colonize every planet you see if you want to stay competitive. Now, doesn't that mean that you're not playing tall? Yes! That kind of does what it does mean, exactly that. But, as I said, if you want to remain competitive, you have to go with that. However, here I'm starting to realize that some of the systems are not that efficient, and since I am already coming close to my administrative capacity, I've decided to remove the weakest systems, creating even more border gore. Which is not a problem as long as you're not triggering the cohesion, the cohesion limiter, which has a very weird way of being calculated. Now, before the session, we had negotiated a migration treaty, but the player himself did not show up, or for the later sessions as well, so that caused a bit of problem in the plans. Regardless, now that we know we have to colonize the planets, and it hurts the population growth if you do not in terms of opportunity cost, and here's what I mean. When you colonize a planet, the base growth is 3.0, at least if you are a standard empire. Anything else increases that base growth by a percentage. So if you have 2 planets, you have a base growth of 6. And for some reason, people breed so much more faster on the new planets than the previous ones. So yeah, it kind of doesn't make sense. So I think they would need to change that if in order for Toll to remain competitive. I don't know, they'll need to balance that out, because as it stands now, the only way you can get decent amount of population is with, rapid expansion of your population. So that is what we have been doing. We have built a lot of colony ships and start colonizing every single planet that we can. And with our research, we're focusing on the terraforming to use the rest of our planets. So from my calculations, the 2 worlds aside, I should be able to get about 14 more planets. So in total, I would have 14 planets, which is really, really good. It is almost close to the calculation hard cap. According to my calculations, basically, there is a point that after some administrative capacity excess, it is no longer beneficial to spread. Like, it's okay to go over administrative capacity, and as long as you're increasing your economy and research and tradition generation more than the penalties, you are still making a profit. But because the penalties are on a percentage basis, yeah, there is a point where it becomes a hard cap. And it looks like that point really depends on what is your total capacity. So here we're doing a lot of math, and fortunately I did find a Reddit thread where the guy was calculating that. It was a pretty simplistic one, and there are some caveats to it, but that's generally what it boils down to. So that's the important part. Realizing this, starting as Tall Empire, I know I have not reached that capacity as of yet. And so I intend to push to reach that capacity as soon as possible and stay there, while my main competition does not realize they have exceeded that point. And because of their inefficient systems, I will be able to push forward, and as a result, at the end of this session, I have managed to rise up from the 23rd to 19th position, something of that sort. And because the technologies that I've been researching and the buildings that I've been building were all infrastructure, it allowed me to jump even further on the next session and allowed me to reach the top 10 in the player rankings. But that is for the next week, and we will see how we have achieved that next time in our Eternum campaign. Thanks for joining me, and we'll see you next time.